Hey everybody, StogieFarts here. This is going to be a video in my pipe smoking for beginners series. Somebody recently asked me a question and said, how do you tamp your pipe without making the pipe go out? And tamping is sort of an acquired thing as far as knowing when to do it, how to do it correctly. And first off, what's the point of tamping? Well, unlike a cigar, when you smoke a pipe, it's filled with tobacco, but as it burns, it creates air in there, like it gets very light. So when you first have your pipe and you light it, it's really easy to puff. You could feel it draw in the air. You could feel the amount of smoke that comes in your mouth. And pay attention to that. Pay attention to how much smoke you're getting when your pipe is first lit. Because as you're smoking it, and as it burns more and more of that top layer of tobacco, you don't get as much smoke as you start pulling it into the pipe. Right now, this is still going pretty good. But I can, if you don't keep puffing on it, if you start talking a lot like I usually do, if you don't let it keep the oxygen going through, that'll also put the pipe out. So the whole point of tamping is you're compacting that tobacco back down. You're compacting the hot, burning layer of tobacco and trying to put it more in contact with the layer underneath that hasn't been touched by fire yet. So what it does is it lights new tobacco basically and gets the smoke going again. Now, so to address the first point, how do you know when to do it? I always tell by, again, how much smoke is coming out. If I start puffing and I notice there's not a lot of smoke coming through, or you puff and it seems like there's a lot of air or a lot of like not a lot of pull, a lot of resistance. That means there's a lot of ash in there that just needs to be compacted down. So all you do is you take your tamping tool or whatever you want, finger, a stick, whatever you have. This is a check tool that almost every pipe smoker has, are really cheap, and you just press it down really lightly. I'm not trying to put it out. It's not like a fire that you step on, because then you'll squash out all the oxygen. So you just lightly kind of tamp it, and you kind of tamp it down to where it has a nice layer of ash on there. Before, that ash was really high and had a lot of air in it, because when the tobacco burned, it kind of stayed there. Think of it like this. When you smoke a cigar, if you don't do anything to it, as it burns, you have this big long layer of ash, right? Just this big long ash thing, ash trail. And it's sort of like that in the pipe. Imagine it like a cigar sticking straight up. As it's burning down, you have this layer of ash. And where a cigar, you would eventually, the ash would fall off, and then you'd be able to get more of air flow going through it. There's nothing to fall off inside a pipe. So you use this to kind of just press it down. And if you press too hard, you're going to either put out the pipe, or more likely than not, you're going to make it so it's going to be harder to pull air through it. So you just kind of use the weight of your tool to just kind of press it down. And usually what I do, sometimes, okay, second point, you get to a point where maybe you're not getting a lot of smoke, and the pipe's, starting to go out, you tamp, it doesn't help. You might have too much ash in there. That's when I use the stir tool. Stir tool? I don't know what that's called. The stir, the needle, the middle finger of the check tool. I don't know. Whatever that is, all I do is I kind of poke. And I just kind of lightly poke with the same sort of consistency that I do when I tamp. I just lightly poke and I stir up that top layer of ash. And then all I do is I turn it upside down, just let the ash dump out, and what's left is not the ash part. And then I kind of tamp that a little bit. There you go. Keep it going, and then there's nothing wrong with relighting. So I might even give this a relight right now, because now I got rid of the ash. It's still not pulling a lot of smoke like it should. It's going out. And that might be because I'm talking a lot too. So I'm going to relight it right now. I'm going to relight it, tamp it back down, enjoy it. Tamp when I feel it's starting to go out a little bit. And if tamping doesn't, when you get to the point where tamping doesn't even seem to help, that's when you poke it, stir it, dump it. Relight if you need to. And that's it. So if you have any other questions about tamping, let me know. I try and help out beginners as much as I can and share what works for me. And that's it. So thanks for watching. Talk to you later.